Hi everybody, it's Brooke and it's Bella here. She's sunbathing, so we are sitting on a chair so Bella can have some time to be in the sun. Happy hour to you, happy Friday. I hope this is finding you well. We had a fantastic week here at the Physio Revolution. I actually had quite a few people who were asking about stress. And I think here, I'll give you a little bit more. I think puppies are always a de-stressor, right? So if you can get your hands on a puppy, can you look over here? Say hi to everybody. Yeah, you love the sun, don't you? So if you can find a puppy, that's always a nice thing to help with de-stressing. But if you don't, just make sure you stop on in because we have one right here typically every day. That is always helpful to help de-stress the day. So happy Friday, happy hour to you. I'm having some tea again. It seems that I find myself with a mug that's warm as the weather's getting a little cooler, and just trying to fend off some sickness perhaps. So I really like to make sure that I'm diving into the tea. If you're not having tea right now, I hope this finds you having a nice warm hot toddy and enjoying and embracing the cold that we are starting to get here in Denver. So talking about stress, I want to give you a few little tips here that I always tell people about. That asked a lot about how do I find myself in a stressful scenario and how do I really, it's in conjunction with pain, right? So I do a lot of teaching with everybody that stress is highly correlated with pain. So if you're in a very high stressful or high trauma or high negative scenario or environment, often you're going to find yourself probably leading up towards injury. Unfortunately, that's highly correlated with rotator cuffs, neck pain, back pain, and also hips. So if you are somebody who is dealing with a stressful environment, I urge you to just listen to these tips that I give you because these are just 4 quick tips that you can start incorporating every day. And maybe set yourself up for less of an opportunity to sustain an injury. So highly correlated with neck pain or more of a disc bulge or having radiating pain, highly correlated with rotator cuff tears, unfortunately. Back pain is the biggest catch with stress. So if you are dealing with any of those, make sure you pay attention because 4 quick tips here can help you with what's happening in most people's life is that the weather's changing, we're starting to get cold. Unfortunately, that means that we get stiffness and achiness in our joints. So a lot of people, instead of trying to find techniques to help with that, might find themselves actually diving into a couch to warm up or diving in bed or making sure that you're kind of sitting around because you're feeling achy and stiffness, right? So tip number 1 is always make sure you remember that motion is lotion. I cannot emphasize this enough. Joints like to be warm. Warmed joints feel good and less achy and less stiff. But how do you get joints warm? Now, a lot of people go to heating packs, which is great. A lot of people like to soak in a hot tub or soak in a bath or a warm shower, which is just fine. But the number 1 thing that actually warms up your joints the most efficient and the most quickest is motion. You need to utilize the muscles to draw blood into that area. Heat takes longer, so does soaking. So the quickest, most efficient way is to actually move the joint. I know the first few moments don't feel good, but you need to find purposeful movement. That is what is going to help you quite a bit de-stress just by activity alone. It also throws off some endorphins, some really good feel-good chemicals that are going off in your brain. So de-stress with exercise, with movement, with whatever you got. Motion is lotion. Make sure you're hitting that. So that's tip number 1. Tip number 2 is make sure that you are embracing the silence. We have so much noise going on in our life. I am literally looking in a camera right now. I'm constantly trying to make sure that I am putting down the devices. I'm turning off the TV. I am turning off the noise in the car. Embrace the silence. Sit and listen. See if you can hear a train. See if you can hear a bird. Can you hear the leaves falling that are the last bit that are remaining on the trees right now before the snow comes? Can you hear the people talking? Can you find and listen to your own breath? Can you embrace the silence? Because there's so much noise going on in your mind, in and around us every day that sometimes we just need to calm our system down instead of ramping it up with trying to just feed it more information. So embrace the silence is tip number 2. Tip number 3 really comes from making sure that you're finding happiness through something that is often overlooked. And I think that a lot of people do this during Thanksgiving, where maybe you go around and you start saying, well, what are you grateful for? What are you thankful for today? So I've seen a lot of that, but I'm not sure why we're just doing it during Thanksgiving. There's a whole handful of things that you and I can be grateful for every day. So in my practice and what I teach people is that you should find 3 things every morning and every evening that you are grateful for. So find gratitude. There's a high correlation and lots of research that goes into this with gratitude, finding, gratefulness or being thankful each and every day will promote more of a happiness in your life and calm the system down as well. So what I do in the morning is every time I get into a shower, I literally think in my head, what are 3 things that I'm grateful for right now? And if that is that warm shower that I'm sitting in, because not a lot of people get warm showers. We're very lucky in the United States. And if you don't know that, you need to look up why we are so lucky to have what we do in the US. But nonetheless, make sure that you're grateful for something, right? I'm grateful for the opportunity to help people every day get out of pain, get back into life, stay away from a surgery, stay away from a pain med that could become such a disaster for people. So there are plenty of things that we can find. You could just be grateful for the fact that maybe you're not dealing with having to take pain medications. Maybe you're not having to deal with transporting during heavy traffic in a high populated city. Now, most of us in Denver have to deal with that, unfortunately, but maybe you're not. Maybe you're somebody who takes the train and you can make it right through. Or maybe you're somebody who really likes to let people through, or maybe somebody let you get into your lane today that you were grateful for and they didn't honk at you and they weren't mad at you. I mean, there's so much we could be grateful for. So find 3 things in the morning, find 3 things in the evening, mostly when you're dealing with the evening. Try to find something that you did, right? That you made an impact in somebody's life. What could you have done differently? What are you grateful for the opportunity to have that day as well? Then start it again and repeat it every day. Not just Thanksgiving, not just Christmas, not just your birthday, not just holidays. Start being grateful every day. That is also going to lessen your stressful environment as well. Last thing I want to think about is our 4th tip is always to think twice. I can't emphasize enough how many people typically like to go for a quick fix. And although that, unfortunately, we're in a high gratification state where we really like Amazon to deliver our boxes in 2 days. We also like the fact that groceries can be delivered on an instant, and we also have fast food restaurants that can have food ready for us in less than 30 seconds. We are in a high gratification state. So if you are not thinking twice on what this could do for your long-term effect, I highly emphasize that you need to think twice. They are ruining us as a human population. And if you are seeking in a stressful environment and you're dealing with pain, but you know that ultimately you find yourself in a stressful environment, but taking pain medications to ease situations, I urge you to think twice about it. So ultimately, this is all about how can you de-stress your environment, because a lot of people who live in stress end up having pain. So start with these simple techniques. Just remember one thing. There's a saying that goes, small hinges can move big doors. It's the simplest things and the smallest things that can really lead us to large opportunities. So I urge you to think about that as you work your way into these 4 techniques for de-stressing your environment as we work into the holidays. I don't want you sitting in pain or continuing to be in pain. So think about how you can de-stress your environment, your sensitivity of your nervous system, starting with these techniques. And start there. Just start simple like that and start moving your door on your small hinges, right? Okay, quick announcement here. Trivia workout, next one is going to be November 14th, Wednesday, November 14th, 5:30 here at the Physio Revolution. We'll start here at TPR, work our way over to the Kentucky Inn, and then we will find ourselves hopefully taking home the gold. We have the bronze and the silver so far, and we are just basically adding up this money to have a holiday party at the Kentucky Inn at some point before the first of the year. So help us win the gold, and otherwise we hope this finds you well. Find gratitude, find joy, give it to somebody who deserves it and who needs it, and then you yourself are going to find contribution to somebody else, which makes you feel good. So give love to the world and those who need it most, and have a fantastic, fantastic day. We'll talk to you soon. Have a good one. Bye-bye.